The Florida Supreme Court has cleared the way for a 6-week abortion ban while also putting the issue on the November ballot for the state. Senior Washington correspondent Tara Mergener has more on how it could affect the election. Tara, how big of an industry is abortion in Florida?
Well, Jenna, about 80,000 women have abortions there every year. The court's decision paves the way for the state to have some of the country's strongest abortion restrictions. At the same time, justices will allow voters to decide the overall question on abortion rights. Reaction came quickly across the political spectrum to these major rulings.
I'm going to continue fighting, abortion until it's finally banned here from Florida.
By upholding the state's 15-week abortion ban, justices paved the way for a 6-week ban passed last year by the legislature and approved by Governor Ron DeSantis.
It was the right thing to do. Don't let anyone tell you it wasn't.
While abortion rights advocates acknowledge this is a setback,
if the voters also want to show their displeasure to those justices for their vote, they could also weigh in November.
They're embracing the decision to let voters decide in November whether to protect abortion rights in a ballot initiative.
Florida is now ground zero in the fight to protect the woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions. And as House Democrats, we are here to make clear that we stand with you to protect reproductive freedom.
60% of Florida voters voting to approve the measure would protect it in the state's constitution.
All that hard work to get it on the ballot, we will see it. And also, happiness that we're letting Floridians decide.
The move is also raising interest in this year's election, when every seat in the Florida House of Representatives is on the ballot.
We're now going to have a ballot initiative where people are going to be able to fight back against the sort of extremism that continues to play out because of what he did in appointing the justices who overturned Roe v. Wade.
Now, Florida's 6-week abortion ban does allow exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. Other red states that have put abortion on the ballot, including Kansas, Kentucky, and Ohio, have all voted to support abortion rights. Jenna.
All right, Tara, thank you very much. Tony Perkins is the president of the Family Research Council and host of Washington Watch, and he joins us now. Tony, welcome. So
Thanks,
it looks like all eyes on Florida now after the Supreme Court ruling. Tony, does this give new life to Democrats and some of their races there? And will it drive turnout, helping President Biden and other down-ballot races?
We look back at Governor Ron DeSantis, who signed this law into effect before it was challenged in court. He ran for re-election after this, and won handedly because he knew how to talk about the issue. Where we have seen elected leaders that understand the issue of the sanctity of human life, they've successfully been able to communicate that to voters. So I see no reason why we won't see that happen in Florida. But we have to realize, Jenna, that the left will not take life as an answer. They will not stop. They will continue to push the abortion agenda. Even after the Supreme Court in the Dobbs case, they want to continue to take this state by state. Obviously, they have the right to do that. But pro-life voters, voters that are concerned about the moral climate of America, have to realize this battle is not over. We have to continue to stand for life perpetually. And that means every time it's on the ballot, every candidate that runs for office. And we do need Republican elected officials and candidates like Governor DeSantis who understand this issue and are not afraid to embrace it and run on it.
And Tony, to your point, it really does animate both sides, Republicans and Democrats. Do you think for that reason we'll see Democrats put more abortion initiatives in other states on their ballots?
Yeah, Jenna, I think that's absolutely the case. And the more Republicans are silent or run from the issue, like we saw in the midterm elections, the Democrats will push this more, thinking they have a winning issue. But look, all we have to do is point to who's extreme here. We're talking about abortion until the moment of birth, funded by taxpayers. That's actually in the Democratic Party platform. So I just think that Republicans need to regain their footing on this issue that they've had for over 4 decades and stand for the sanctity of human life. I mean, this is a fundamental issue. It has not gone away. What we have seen, though, is that if we are persistent and we continue with our passion of being on what we know to be morally right, we ultimately prevail. And that's what we saw in the Dobbs case. So we have to continue.
Tony, let's talk about immigration. Former President Trump was on the campaign trail today in Michigan and called it Biden's border bloodbath. And, the numbers really are not good for the White House. Under the Trump administration, there were upwards of 2 million southern border encounters. In Biden's 3 years, that number is upwards of 7 million. Tony, what did you make of the former president's comments today and his overall message, Republicans' message, on this issue?
Jenna, I think this is going to be the #1 issue in the election. I think there's going to be 4 major issues. I think this is one of them, crime, which is closely related to the border. I think the issue of life is going to be an issue for evangelical, Bible-believing Christian voters. And then I actually think Israel is going to be another issue in this fall that animates voters, because there's such a clear contrast between not just the 2 candidates, but also between the 2 parties. And I think Donald Trump is absolutely right. I was at the border in the last year of his presidency, and it was like a ghost town. Now it is totally chaotic, and it is, again, Jenna, this speaks to the consequences from elections. You elect lawless candidates to become the leaders, and you get lawlessness. And that's what we have on our border.
All right, Tony Perkins with the Family Research Council. We'll leave it there, Tony. Thank you so much.